All right, folks, let's get to the heart of it.
Why do you need a savings account? And why do you need it right now? I'm not talking about someday when you have a little extra money lying around. I'm talking about today, no matter what your financial situation looks like. Because let me tell you something, life is unpredictable. It's not a matter of if you'll face a financial emergency. It's a matter of when.
And when that day comes, you're going to want a buffer between you and the chaos. That's what a savings account is. It's your financial safety net, your cushion, the thing that keeps you from spiraling back into debt when life throws you a curveball.
And trust me, life throws a lot of curveballs, unexpected car repairs, medical bills, home maintenance. The question isn't whether you'll have an emergency, but whether you'll be prepared for it when it happens.
Most people think they'll just use their credit card if something goes wrong, and that's the problem. Credit cards aren't a backup plan. They're a debt trap.
I've seen too many families fall into this cycle. Something breaks, they swipe the card, and before they know it, they're staring at a mountain of debt they can't climb out of.
That's why you need a savings account and not just any savings account. You need one that's separate from your checking, so you're not tempted to dip into it for everyday expenses.
You need a place where your money can sit quietly, growing over time, and be ready when you need it. This isn't about saving for a fancy vacation or a new gadget. This is about saving for a fancy vacation or a new gadget. This is about peace of mind.
When you have a solid savings account, you're in control. You're not living in constant fear of the next emergency because you know you've got it covered. That feeling of security is priceless.
It's the difference between panicking when your car won't start and simply making a call to the mechanic because you know you've got the funds to handle it. It's the difference between sleepless nights, worrying about unexpected bills, and laying your head down at night with confidence, knowing you've built a financial moat around your life. This isn't just about money. It's about the freedom that comes from being prepared, the freedom that allows you to make decisions based on what's best for you and your family, not what you can afford on credit. You might be thinking, Dave, I barely have enough money to make it through the month.
How am I supposed to start a savings account? And I get it. Times are tough. But the truth is, you can't afford, the truth is you can't afford to save.
Even if it's just a little bit at first, even if it's $5, $10, or $20 a week, you need to start somewhere. It's not about the amount. It's about building the habit. It's about building the habit. It's about making saving a priority, putting it at the top of your budget instead of treating it like an afterthought. Think of it like a muscle you need to strengthen. At first, it might feel hard, almost impossible. But as you keep at it, as you make those small deposits consistently, that muscle gets stronger. Your savings start to grow, and so does your confidence. You're creating momentum, and that momentum is what's going to carry you forward. Here's the truth most people don't want to hear. If you don't prioritize saving, you're setting yourself up for failure. You're relying on hope instead of a plan, and hope isn't a strategy. Hope won't pay your bills when your car breaks down. Hope won't cover that unexpected trip to the doctor. But a well-funded savings account will. And the best part, the money you put into savings isn't just sitting there. It's working for you. When you have cash on hand, you have options. You're not at the mercy of high interest lenders or payday loan sharks. You can make smart decisions because you're not desperate. You've got the funds you need, and that puts you in the driver's seat of your financial life. So let's make a commitment right now. You're going to open a savings account if you don't already have one, and you're going to start putting money into it consistently, no matter how small the amount. Don't wait until you feel ready or until you have more money. If you wait for the perfect time, it's never going to come. Start where you are with what you have and build from there. Automate your savings if you can. Set up a direct transfer from your checking account into your savings account, every payday. Treat it like a bill, something you have to pay no matter what. You're paying yourself first, and that's the smartest financial move you can make. Every dollar you save today is a dollar that's going to protect you tomorrow. Let me paint you a picture. Imagine waking up a year from now with a fully funded emergency fund. You've got 3 to 6 months of expenses saved up, sitting safely in a high-yield savings account, earning interest and growing every day. How does that feel? Feels good, right? That's what I want for you. I want you to have that peace of mind, that freedom, that sense of security. And it all starts with a single decision, the decision to open a savings account and make saving a priority. The bottom line is this: you need a savings account because you need a plan. Life is going to happen whether you're ready or not. You can't control the curveballs, but you can control how prepared you are to handle them. You've got the power to protect yourself and your family from financial stress, but it starts with taking action today. Don't put it off. Don't wait for a better time. Open that savings account, make your first deposit, and start building the future you deserve. You've got this, folks. Let's go make it happen. Your future self will thank you. All right. Folks, now that we understand the importance of having a savings account, it's time to dig into the different types of savings accounts and figure out which one is right for you. Because here's the deal. Not all savings accounts are created equal. If you want to make your money work for you, you've got to pick the right tool for the job. Too many people just walk into their local bank, open the first savings account they see, and call it a day. But you're smarter than that. You're here because you want to make intentional choices with your money, and that starts with understanding your options. Let's break it down and talk about 3 of the most common types of savings accounts. The savings accounts, the basic savings accounts, the high-yield savings accounts, and the money market account. Each one has its pros and cons, and choosing the right one depends on your specific financial goals. Let's start with the basic savings account. This is the most common type, the one you probably see advertised at your local bank. It's simple, easy to set up, and offers quick access to your money.
Sounds good, right? But here's the problem. The interest rates on these accounts are usually pathetic. We're talking 0.1s or 0.2 APY. That's not going to get you anywhere. You're basically letting your money sit there, collecting dust instead of growing. You're basically letting your money sit there, collecting dust instead of growing.
And let me tell you, folks, inflation is eating away at the value of your savings every single day. If your money isn't earning interest, it's losing purchasing power. A basic savings account might be a good start if you're just getting going and want something simple, but it shouldn't be your long-term solution. It's like parking your car in neutral and expecting to go somewhere. You're not making progress. This type of account is fine for convenience, but it's not going to help you build wealth. Now, let's talk about the high-yield savings accounts. This is where you start to see your money actually working for you. High-yield savings accounts are usually offered by online banks or credit unions, and they often have interest rates getting to 20 times higher than a basic savings account.
We're talking 4 to 5 EIP in today's market, and that's a game changer. It might not sound like much, but over time, that interest adds up. You're letting compound interest do its magic, and that's how you build momentum.
The best part, these accounts are still FDIC insured, which means your money is protected up to $250,000.
That's peace of mind, folks. You get a better return on your savings without taking on any additional risk.
But here's the catch. High-yield savings accounts are usually offered by online banks, which means you might not have the convenience of walking into a branch. You've got to be comfortable managing your account online. If you're willing to do that, this is hands down the best option for growing your emergency fund or saving for a big purchase. The third option is the money market account.
Now, this one is kind of like a hybrid between a savings account and a checking account and a checking account. You typically get a higher interest rate, similar to a high-yield savings account, but you also get check, writing privileges and a debit card.
It's a little more flexible, which can be great if you need occasional access to your money.
But here's the downside. Money market accounts often have higher minimum balance requirements.
You might need to keep $5,000, $10,000, or even $25,000 in the account to earn the highest interest rate or avoid fees. If you're just starting out, this might not be the best option for you. But if you're looking for a place to park a larger chunk of your savings and still want easy access, a money market account could be a good fit.
So how do you decide which one to choose? It all comes down to your goals.
If you're just getting started and want to dip your toes into saving, a basic savings account is fine. But don't get comfortable there.
Move on to a high yield savings account as soon as you can. If you're saving for a big purchase like a car or a home down payment and want to maximize your interest, a high yield account is the way to go.
And if you've already built up a solid emergency fund and want the flexibility to write checks without sacrificing interest, then money market account might be right for you. The key is to pick an account that aligns with your goals and helps you get the best return on your hard-earned money. You've worked too hard to let your savings sit in a low-interest account that's doing nothing for you. Here's what I want you to do. Take a good, hard look at your current savings situation. Are you in a basic savings account earning next to nothing? Are you comfortable with that, or are you ready to take control and make a change? I want you to go out there and shop around. Don't just settle for the first account your bank offers. Look at online banks, credit unions, and other financial institutions. Compare interest rates, fees, and minimum balance requirements. This is your money we're talking about. It's time to make it work as hard for you as you did to earn it. And remember, the goal here isn't just to open a savings account and forget about it. The goal is to make saving a habit, to automate it, and to watch your money grow over time. The right savings account is just the first step. The bottom line is this: you deserve to have your money in a place where it's going to grow and where it's protected. Don't settle for the bare minimum. You're smarter than that, and you're capable of making better choices. Take the time to understand your options. Choose the right account and start building the habit of saving today. You've got the power to change your financial future, but it starts with making a decision, taking action, and committing to the process. Let's go out there and do this, folks. Your future self is going to thank you for the decisions you make today.
You've got this now. Let's go make it happen.
All right, folks, we've talked about why you need a savings account and the different types you can choose from. But now it's time to tackle a silent killer that's lurking in almost every savings account out there.
Plank feet.
Let me tell you something. If you're not careful, bank fees will eat your savings alive. I've seen it time and time again. People work hard, make sacrifices to put money away, and then watch as their savings get slowly drained by monthly maintenance fees, overdraft charges, admin fees, and who knows what else fees that the bank sneak in there. It's like a slow leak in your boat. You might not notice it at first, but if you don't plug that leak, your boat's going to sink. And we're not letting your financial boat sink, not on my watch. Here's the truth. Your bank shouldn't be charging you to hold on to your money. It's that simple. You've already done the hard part. You've already done the money. You've disciplined yourself to save it. The last thing you need is a bank that's dipping into your savings and taking a little slice every month just because they can. But guess what? That's exactly what's happening if you're not paying attention. The average monthly maintenance fee for a basic savings account can range from $5 to $12. And if you don't meet certain requirements like maintaining a minimum balance, those fees kick in automatically.
Over a year, that's $60 to $144 of your money gone.
And for what? Just for the privilege of letting your bank sit on your cash. Folks, that's unacceptable. You didn't work hard to give your money away to the bank. So how do you avoid these fees? It starts with choosing the right bank and the right accounts. Not all banks are created equal. You've got your big national banks, your local credit unions, and your online banks. And let me tell you, the big national banks love to nickel and dime you with fees. They're counting on you not paying attention, and they make billions every year from people who don't realize they're being charged. That's why I want you to shop around and look at credit unions and online banks. These institutions often offer savings accounts with no monthly fees and better interest rates. Credit unions are member-owned, which means they're not out to squeeze every last penny out of you. They're focused on serving their members. An online bank have lower overhead costs, which means they can pass those savings on to you in the form of fee-free accounts and higher interest rates. Next, you need to read the fine prints. I know it's boring. I know it feels like wading through legal jargon that makes your eyes glaze over. But this is your money, folks. You've got to know what you're signing up for. Look out for fees that might not be obvious up front. Some banks charge you if you make too many withdrawals from your savings account in a month. Others might charge an inactivity fee if you don't use your account often enough. And don't even get me started on overdraft fees. If you accidentally dip below your minimum balance, the bank might hit you with a $35 fee. That's a costly mistake, especially if you're trying to build up your emergency fund. The bottom line is you need to know the rules of the game so you can play it smart. If your current bank is charging you fees, it's time to have a serious conversation with them or move your money somewhere else.
And here's another thing. Avoid using out of network apps. This might seem like a small thing, but those fees add up fast. When you use an app that's not in your bank's network, you could be charged by both your bank and the app owner.
I've seen people pay $3 to $5 per transaction, which might not seem like much in the moment, but if you're doing that a couple of times a month, that's another $100 or more a year. You might as well be throwing your money away. Instead, plan ahead. Know where your bank's atoms are, or better yet, choose a bank or credit union that reimburses atom fees. Many online banks offer this atom fees. Many online banks offer this as a perk, so you're not penalized just because you needed to get cash. Here's what I want you to take away from this. Every dollar you save matters. Don't let the bank take a chunk of your hard-earned money just because you weren't paying attention to the fees. This is about being intentional with your finances, about making choices that align with your goals. You've got to be your own advocate here. Don't be afraid to ask your bank questions, negotiate fees, or switch to a different institution if you're not getting what you need. Remember, the bank works for you, not the other way around. Your savings account should be a tool that helps you build wealth, not a leaky bucket that drains your resources. And let's get real for a moment. The banks aren't hurting. They don't need your $5 or $10 a month to survive. They make billions in profits every year. So don't feel guilty about demanding better. You deserve an account that respects your money and helps it grow. If your bank isn't offering that, it's time to break up and find a new one. There are plenty of free options out there, especially with online banks and credit unions, and they're competing for your business. Make them work for it. You're not locked into your current bank. You have the power to move your money to a place where it's treated with the respect it deserves. The bottom line is this: bank fees are a silent thief, and it's time to shut them down. Take a hard look at your current account. If you're being charged fees, take action today. Call your bank and ask them today, to waive the fees, switch to a no-fee account, or move your money to a better institution. You work too hard for this money to let it slip away in the form of unnecessary charges. Be intentional, be proactive, and take control of your savings. This is your financial future. We're talking about, let's protect it and make sure every dollar you save is a dollar that's going to work for you, not for the bank. You've got this, folks. Let's make it happen. Your savings are worth fighting for. All right, folks, we've covered the why, the what, and how to avoid those sneaky bank fees.
Now, let's talk about something that's often overlooked but makes a huge difference in how your savings grow over time. Interest rates. Because here's the deal. If your money isn't growing, it's losing value. That's right. If you're parking your cash in a savings account with a tiny interest rate, you might as well be leaving it under your mattress.
Inflation is a silent thief that's constantly nibbling away at your purchasing power. So if your money isn't earning interest that at least keeps pace with inflation, you're actually losing ground. And we're not here to tread water. We're here to make progress. We're here to build wealth, and that starts with making sure you're getting a decent return on your savings. Let me paint you a picture. Imagine you've worked hard to save $10,000 and you decide to park it in a basic savings account at your local bank. It's convenient, it feels safe, but the interest rate is a pathetic 0.1. That means at the end of the year, you've earned exactly $1 in interest. $1. That's not even enough to buy a cup of coffee. Meanwhile, inflation's running at around 3 sp per year, which means your money actually lost about $300 in purchasing power. You did everything right. You saved, you put the money away, but because you didn't pay attention to the interest rate, your savings are slowly bleeding value. This is why picking the right account is so critical.
It's not just about having a place to stash your cash. It's about choosing a place where your money can grow and work for you over time. Now let's talk about a high yield savings accounts. This is where things start to get interesting. Literally, high yield savings accounts offer significantly higher interest rates, often 10 to 20 times what you get with a basic savings account. Right now, you can find high yield accounts offering anywhere from 4 to 5 APY. Let me tell you, that's a game changer. With a 4 interest rate, your $10,000 savings would earn you $400 in interest over the course of a year. That's real growth, folks.
That's the power of compound interest working in your favor. Albert Einstein called compound interest the 8th wonder of the world for a reason. When you let your interest, your savings start to snowball, and that's how you build momentum. But you're not going to get there with a standard savings account earning next to nothing. You've got to be intentional about seeking out those higher interest rates, even if it means moving your money to an online bank or a credit union that offers better returns.
And here's the thing. Don't be afraid of online banks. I know a lot of people still hesitate to move their savings to an online bank because it feels unfamiliar or less secure than the brick mortar banks they've used their whole life. But let me tell you, most online banks are FDIC insured, just like the big national banks. That means your deposits are protected up to $250,000. So your money is just as safe, if not safer, than it would be sitting in a big bank that's nickel and diming you with fees. Online banks don't have the same overhead costs as traditional banks, which is why they can offer better interest rates. They pass those savings on to you instead of spending millions on fancy buildings and big executive bonuses. So if you're serious about growing your savings, it's time to consider making the switch. Do your research, compare rates, and make the smart choice. And let's get real here. Interest rates matter, but they're only part of the equation. The real key to building a strong savings foundation is consistency. It's not enough to just open a high yield account and forget about it. You've got to be feeding that account regularly. Set up automatic transfers from your checking account to your savings every month and treat it like a non-negotiable bill. Whether it's $50, $100, or $500 a month, put it on autopilot. This is how you build wealth. Slowly, steadily, and intentionally. You're not relying on luck, and you're not hoping for some magic windfall. You're building your future brick by brick, one deposit at a time. And every time you make a deposit, every time you see that interest payment hit your account, you're reinforcing the habit. You're proving to yourself that you can do this, that you're capable of making smart financial choices. Let me tell you something else. Don't get caught up in chasing rates too much either.
Yeah.
You want to find a good interest rate, but don't let perfection be the enemy of progress.
The difference between 4 and 4.5 isn't going to make or break your financial future if you're saving consistently and sticking to your plan. What will make a difference is getting started now and building the habit of saving.
Too many people spend months, even years, waiting for the perfect account, and in the meantime, they're not saving anything. Don't fall into that trap. Pick a solid high yield account, start saving, and let your money work for you while you focus on building other areas of your financial life. The bottom line is this: interest rates matter, but action matters more. You can't control the market, and you can't control the market, and you can't predict where rates are going to go next, but you can control your choices. You can choose to be intentional,
to seek out better returns, and to save consistently. That's how you build wealth. That's how you build wealth. That's how you go from surviving to thriving. It's not about getting rich quick. It's about making smart, steady decisions that add up over time.
And it all starts with choosing the right account, paying attention to interest rates, and committing to a regular savings plan. Don't let your money sit idle in a low interest account while inflation steals your purchasing power. You deserve better, and so does your future. So go out there, find the best rate you can, and make your money work as hard as you do. You've got this, folks. Let's make it happen.
Your future self is going to look back and thank you for the decisions you made today. All right? Folks, we've talked about the importance of saving, choosing the right type of account, avoiding sneaky fees, and maximizing your interest rate.
Now, let's dive into something that might not sound as exciting, but is absolutely essential. Accessibility.
This is where the rubber meets the road. Because, listen, it doesn't matter how great your interest rate is or how much you've saved if you can't get to your money when you really need it. Accessibility is about having quick and easy access to your cash, especially in an emergency. Remember, the main reason you're building the savings account in the first place is to protect yourself from life's unexpected hits, whether it's a sudden car repair, a medical expense, or a busted water heater in the middle of winter. You need to be able to get to your money without jumping through hoops or paying penalties. Let's get real here. Emergencies don't send you a polite email to let you know they're coming. They hit fast and hard, usually when you least expect it. Imagine for a moment that your car breaks down on a Friday night and you need cash to cover the repair first thing Saturday morning.
You can't afford to wait until the bank opens on Monday. And you definitely don't want to be stuck on hold trying to get through to a customer service rep to access your own money.
That's why it's so important to choose a savings account that offers immediate and convenient access to your funds. This is not the place for accounts that limit your withdrawals or penalize you for taking your own money out. Your savings are there to give you peace of mind, not to create extra stress when you're already dealing with a crisis. Now, I know what some of you might be thinking. Dave, I want to keep my savings as far away as possible, so I'm not tempted to spend it. I get that, and it's a valid concern. If you know you have a tendency to dip into your savings for non-emergencies, it might be tempting to make it harder to access your cash. But here's the truth. You need to develop the discipline to leave that money alone without locking it up so tight that it's useless when you actually need it. This is why I'm a big fan of having your emergency fund in the high yield savings account that's separate from your regular checking account, but still easily accessible when you need it. It's about creating a small barrier that helps you think twice before spending, but doesn't leave you stranded in a true emergency. And let's be clear about what constitutes an emergency. An emergency is not that great sale at your favorite store or last minute weekend getaway. An emergency is an unexpected, unavoidable expense that you can't plan for. Things like a trip to a broken appliance, or urgent car repair. If you're dipping into your savings for anything less, you're sabotaging your own progress. You have to protect this money like it's the most precious thing you own, because in many ways it is. This account represents your security, your buffer against the chaos of life. It's your insurance policy against going back into debt when things go sideways. You've got to respect it and use it wisely. Here's another thing to consider. Choose a bank that offers easy online access and user-friendly mobile access and a user-friendly mobile app.
Yeah.
In today's world, you shouldn't have to drive to a branch or wait on hold just to access your own money. You need to be able to transfer funds quickly, view your balance, and even set up alerts for low balances or unusual activity. This isn't about making your life more complicated. It's about making sure your savings account works for you, not against you.
The easier it is to manage your money, the more likely you are to stay on track and reach your goals. It's about convenience without sacrificing the safety and growth of your fund.
And let's talk about our liquidity for a moment. Liquidity simply means how quickly and easily you can convert your savings into cash without losing value. High yield savings accounts and money market accounts offer great liquidity, which makes them perfect for your emergency fund. You can access your money without penalties, and you're not locked into a fixed term like you would be with a CD, certificate of deposit. CEs might offer slightly higher interest rates, but they come with early withdrawal penalties. And that's not what you want when you're in the middle of a financial emergency. You need flexibility and freedom to use your money when you need it most. That's why liquidity is key. Your emergency fund isn't an investment. It's a safety net. It's there to give you options, to give you control, and to give you the peace of mind that you can handle whatever life throws your way. Let me tell you a story. I once talked to a family who had done everything right. They'd saved up a solid emergency fund, put it in a high interest account, and were feeling great about their financial future.
But when their water heater exploded and flooded their basement, they realized they couldn't access their money without a 72-hour waiting period. They ended up putting the repair on a credit card because they couldn't afford to wait. And suddenly their financial peace was shattered.
Don't let that be you. Make sure your savings account is truly accessible when you need it. Test it out. Do a small transfer and see how long it takes for the money to show up in your checking account.
Make sure you know the process so you're not caught off guard in a moment of crisis.
The bottom line is this: your savings account needs to be both safe and accessible. It's no good having a pile of cash if you can't get to it when you need it most. You're building this safety net for a reason, and it's there to catch you when life knocks you off balance. So choose an account that offers both the good interest rate and the ability to access your funds quickly and easily. Don't settle for anything less. This is your financial lifeline, and you need to know it's there when you need to know it's there when you need it. Take the time to set it up properly now, and you'll thank yourself later. You've got this, folks. Let's make sure your money is always within reach, ready to support you when life throws a curveball. Your future self will be glad you did. All right, friends, here we are at the final step, and it's a big one. Undertaking action and automating your savings.
This is where everything comes together. You've learned why having a savings account is crucial. You've figured out which type of account suits you best. You've eliminated those pesky fees. You've found the best interest rates, and you've ensured that your money is accessible when you need it. But now it's time to turn your plan into action. It's time to stop just talking about saving and start actually saving. And the best way to do that is by making it automatic. You see, saving isn't about having great intentions or making a budget that looks good on paper. It's about building a habit that happens without you even thinking about it. And the easiest way to build that habit is to take your emotions out of it and make saving automatic. Let me tell you why this is so powerful. When you automate your savings, you're paying yourself first. You're making a decision that your financial future is more important than anything else. Before you pay a single bill, before you buy groceries or gas up the car, you're making a commitment to your own security and peace of mind. This is how wealthy people build wealth. They don't save what's left over at the end of the month. They save first, and they live on what's left. It's a mindset shift, and it's going to change everything for you. The beauty of automation is that it eliminates the temptation to skip a month or spend the money elsewhere. You don't have to rely on your willpower, which we all know can be shaky at times. Instead, you're setting it up so that your savings happens on autopilot, whether you feel like it or not. Here's what I want you to do. Log into your bank account today and set up an automatic transfer from your checking account to your savings account. Make it a fixed amount, and make it happen on the same day you get paid. This way, you never even see the money in your checking account. It goes straight into savings before you have a chance to spend it. Start with whatever amount you can manage. Even if it's just $25 or $50 a paycheck, it
might not seem like much, but remember, the goal here is to build the habit first. You can always increase the amount later as your financial situation improves. The key is to get started now. There's a saying I love. The best time to plant a tree was 20 years ago. The second best time is today. The same goes for saving. If you've been putting this off, stop waiting for the perfect moment. Start now, right where you are with what you have. And listen, I know some of you are thinking, Dave, I don't have any room in my budget to save. I get it. Times are tough and money is tight. But this isn't about waiting until you have extra money lying around, because let's be honest, that day may never come unless you make it happen. You got to find room. Go through your budget with a fine tooth comb and look for anything you can cut back on. Maybe it's the daily coffee run, the streaming services you barely use, or the takeout meals that add up faster than you realize. You'd be amazed at how quickly those little expenses eat into your potential savings. Make the cuts and redirect that money into your savings. It's not about depriving yourself. It's about giving yourself a gift, the gift of financial peace and security. Now let's talk about setting a specific goals for your savings. It's not enough to just say, I want to save money. You need to know what to save money. You need to know an emergency fund. Are you building an emergency fund? Saving for a down payment on a house, planning for a big vacation or a new car. When you have a clear goal, it gives your savings a purpose, and that makes it a lot easier to stay motivated.
Write down your goal, put it somewhere you'll see it every day, and remind yourself why you're making these sacrifices. It's not just about the money. It's about the life you want to live, the freedom you want to live, the freedom you want to have, and the legacy you want to leave.
Every dollar you save is a step closer to that vision. And let's get one thing straight. Consistency is more important than perfection. You're going to have months where things get tight, where unexpected expenses come up, and you might have to skip a transfer or dip into your savings a bit. That's okay. Don't let one setback derail your whole plan. The worst thing you can do is give up completely just because you hit a rough patch. Pick yourself up, adjust as needed, and keep going. Remember, building wealth is a marathon, not a sprint. It's about making small, smart choices consistently over time, not about getting everything perfect right out of the gate. Let me give you a vision of what this looks like down the road. Imagine yourself a year from now, 2 years from now, looking back on the decision you made today. You've automated your savings, you've stuck with it, and now you've got a fully funded emergency fund sitting there. You've got 3 to 6 months of expenses saved up, and you're no longer living paycheck to paycheck. You're not stressed out every time the car makes a funny noise or the air conditioner breaks down.
Instead, you handle it with confidence because you've prepared for it. You're no longer reacting to life. You're in control. That's what financial peace looks like, folks.
It's the freedom to live your life without fear, without anxiety, and without the constant weight of financial stress hanging over your head. The bottom line is this. Automating your savings is the smartest, simplest way to guarantee your successes. It takes the guesswork out of saving and turns it into a habit you don't have to think about. You got to decide right now that you're going to make this a priority, that you're going to take action today, and that you're not going to let another month go by without starting this process. You've got the knowledge, you've got the plan, and now it's time to make it happen. Your future self is going to look back on this moment and be so grateful you made this choice. This is how you build wealth. This is how you change your financial future. You've got this, folks. Let's go out there, take action, and make your money work for you. Your journey to financial peace starts right now, and I can't wait to see where it takes you,